Hello everyone, welcome back to Shining Empathy. My name is Joel and this is your full moon reading for July 19th, 2016. So I'm going to do the usual spread, the Seed of Life spread. I really like this for the moon cycles. I do this for a lot of other things besides the moon cycles. It's one of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite spreads. But I will show you the cards as they come up. And yeah, I think that's about it. Let's give her a whirl. Okay, so I'm just going to set the intention that this is for the full moon of July 19th, 2016, and that this is for anyone who's watching this video. Alright, so first card is the root of our situation. Strength. So it's funny because in our weekly reading for this week, strength was in our challenge spot, and for this full moon cycle, strength is the root of the situation. Before I go into any other details about that, I just want to move forward and see how the rest of the story unfolds. So let's have a look at what's directly feeding this situation, what's literally causing the situation to manifest. Contract. All right. So contract can, I find it just sort of symbolizes opportunities, not just necessarily literally signing a contract. Its most direct meaning would be that, like literally pen to paper, you're signing your name to something, and maybe for some of you that's what's happening. Maybe some of you are signing a lease, signing a contract for a new job, mortgage, marriage, anything like that. That could absolutely be what this is about for you right now. But it can also just be about sort of business partnerships, new opportunities. I tend to think of contract as much more business related than any kind of like friendship or relationship intimate. It's definitely much more, it's much more business. So there's something about business opportunities and new relationships there that is directly feeding this situation. Maybe some of you have made some decisions as far as advancements in which way you want your career to go. Either you're furthering something in your vocation that you're currently in right now, or maybe you've decided to take a totally different route and you're trying something new. So we'll come back to that and we'll see what's next. So this next card is our growth card. This is what in this situation is getting the most growth. Okay? Journey. This card tends to come up when a physical move is happening. So in the middle of this situation, and this situation being this moon cycle for the full moon, there's a physical journey that's at hand for a lot of us. Maybe it's just a matter of trekking ourselves across the city to someone's home during this moon cycle. That's maybe somewhere out of the ordinary. But I do see a lot of packing bags. This is the time of year, I think, that a lot of people are going away. I myself am going away for a couple weeks to visit family during this moon cycle. So I think that that's probably for me, that's what this represents, the trip that's happening there. But for a lot of you, maybe you're moving. We are at the end of the month, so maybe a lot of you are getting ready to move, literally packing your bags, packing up your stuff, and getting ready to relocate. So yeah, I think that's probably what this is tapping into for a lot of us. I'm going to guess that for most of us this is about traveling, but yeah, let's keep moving. The next card is our challenge card for this moon cycle. Rest and rejuvenation. I personally see this one come up a lot just because I'm not very good at stopping. Even when I am physically stopped, the mind is still going. And I think that's why it's very important to see this card in a state of meditation, because not only is this person physically stopped, and is physically resting, but his mind is also at rest. It's very important to acknowledge that both things need to be at rest to really rest and rejuvenate. So in our challenge spot, we all need to be aware of taking time, prioritizing the time to give our bodies and our minds the rest it needs. If you can't find a place to meditate, like if you're just not very good at meditating, or you just it's very difficult for you to meditate, and you haven't got that practice down, that's okay. Whatever it is that gives your mind relaxation and rest, we all have those things that give us that space in our mind, so tap into that this week. Make sure you prioritize. I'm hearing absolutely the word prioritize. Prioritize rest for yourselves. That means that you literally need to put it on the calendar, put it in your schedule, put it in your schedule. I know a lot of people that don't necessarily, like they will create so much busyness for themselves. Like if it's not in their calendar, if it's not in their schedule, it's not going to happen. And they will tell me, well, no, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. They make time for all this other stuff because they're making it a priority. They're making a schedule, a priority in their schedule. You just have to make things a priority to make time for it. Absolutely make time for rest this week, or for this moon cycle. Okay, make sure that's in your list of things to do. Okay. All right. This card is our opening card. This is something that in this situation, in this moon cycle, something that's maybe beginning or something that's opening up to us. Okay? Woman holding coin. So there's two ways I'm going to read this. Number one is that this could be a meeting with a woman holding coin. Given that there are so many people who are going to be viewing this video, I don't necessarily think it's specifically that. However, for some of you it might be, so I am going to move into that first. This woman is, she's very stable. She's financially independent, confident. People would look up to her. This is somebody who, before she would give you her time of day, she has to see you as worthy, okay? It's not necessarily a bad thing, but she is very selective of who she gives her time and resources to. So if this is someone that you're physically going to meet, that's going to open up opportunities for you, because in the opening spot, she is going to open things up for you, and either open doors for you, new opportunities, gateways, possibilities, or maybe open up your mind to new things, who knows. But if it's a case of you're going to meet this person, then that's the kind of person that she would be. So be on the lookout for her, all right? Now, I could also read this on the other side of the coin here, that, and because this is for a general audience, I could read this as a character card, as in we're kind of moving into that place, this kind of character. So I'm going to read this as a unisex character and not the woman. It's just the characteristics or her qualities. And those qualities, again, are financially secure, stable, confident, independent. Just the word stable is just what really comes to mind. And I feel like if we're moving into embodying most of those qualities, then that would that essentially is what's opening up to us, is just moving into that character and those qualities, and then those things are what's opening up to us. Okay? So it could be either of those two things. So maybe some of you connect with one, or some of you will connect with the other. Now, the next card is our strength card for this moon cycle. Okay? Deceit. This can be a bit of a scary card for a lot of people, because it's immediately like, well, who should I, it kind of gets the paranoid part of our minds working, like, well, who should I be looking at? Like, is someone deceiving me? Like, should I be on the lookout for a person who's deceiving me? Most often, this card comes up in the way that we deceive ourselves, we're not being honest with ourselves about something. It can absolutely mean that there's a person involved in the situation who's not giving you the full picture, who's deliberately trying to kind of pull the wool over your eyes. It could absolutely be that. But in our strength spot, I feel like what I'm hearing is that we're seeing the deceit. This isn't something we're blind to. We are seeing deceit where it is, whether that's in ourselves, we're being deceitful or dishonest with ourselves, we're not speaking our truth or seeing our truth. We are seeing it now. It's just a matter of now taking the step and being honest with ourselves. Or maybe if we're seeing the person who's kind of pulling the wool over our eyes, maybe it's a matter of we're actually going to confront them about it. And if not confront them, then acknowledge that that person doesn't deserve our trust, and let go of that relationship, let go of what's happening there, the situation, maybe it's a conflict, and move on. So it could be any of those things, so keep an eye out for that. Now this last card, sort of like our outcome card, it's basically from everything that we're going through in this situation, this is what everything's sort of leading up to, the fruit of our labors, okay? And it's balance. So this is literally like this is a really pretty card because the pyramids in the desert, it's a very dry background, but the angel here is very blue and has a very aqua kind of water kind of feel to her. And she's even holding like this precious water of life container in her hands. So like, it's sort of like bringing life, bringing water to the dry desert. So any area where we are, I'm hearing desperately out of balance. And when you think of the desert, it's something that is desperately out of balance in comparison to somewhere that has vegetation and life. I'm hearing that it's time that those things come back into balance. The water is being, we're getting ready to give water to the things that have dried out, to the things that really require our attention right now. Let me just look over here and see if there's anything I want to get some extra details on. This week, I think, for this full moon reading, I think I am going to do some extra detail cards. So one of the first cards that I would like to get more details on is the contract card. So I'm going to see what else the cards have to say about that. Okay, so the card that came up as a detail card for that is the 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. Whatever it is that's going on with this contract, with this relationship, this business opportunity, it's very crown chakra oriented, so it's very, very much the intellectual kind of connection. So if this is a connection with a person that we're having, it's going to be very intellectual. It's going to be very, maybe it's somebody that you have very good verbal chemistry with, like you guys could talk forever and like you get a lot of ideas together. It's a good intellectual crown chakra connection. It could also be that this opportunity is sort of has been manifesting in the crown chakra for a while. Maybe it's an idea or a concept that's coming to fruition here. I tend to lean towards that one a bit more. It's an idea that's finally coming to manifest. So that's kind of cool. All right. The other thing I want to ask about is this trip, this journey, this move. Let's find out about that, shall we? All right. Action. I mean, these horses kind of speak for themselves. They're obviously moving. The thing about this action card, though, is that it's sort of a yin and yang there. You can see that, the black horse and the white horse. With this card specifically, this call to action, we have been doing everything in the background, but we haven't taken the physical action. It's like we've been thinking about it, we've been planning, and we've got all that down. We've been doing that for a long enough time now. That's not what we need to do anymore. We actually need to take physical action. So maybe this trip or this move has been planned for quite a while now, and it's just time that physical action is finally coming. Because this is much more of a physical action card, this is not a yin energy card, this is a yang energy card. I would say that absolutely this is a physical trip. This isn't some kind of spiritual journey this is talking about. This is a physical trip happening here. So however this is connected for you during this time frame of either vacation time, trips, seeing family, physical, like moving from one location to another, moving homes, etc. Maybe physically moving jobs. Who knows? Because it is connected to the contract card here. Just bear in mind that that's all part of this here. So yeah. The other card I want to ask about is the woman. I want to know a little bit more about her, so let's find out some details about her. Okay, so the woman is connected to our second chakra. That's our relationship center. So whoever this person is, whether it's these characteristics that we'll be embodying, these qualities that we'll be taking on, or whether this is somebody that we're actually going to be meeting, whichever that is, it's going to have a direct opening of our second chakra. The second chakra is connected to, I mean, most people think of it as our sex chakra. It's connected to our sex organs and whatnot. Yes, it is. It's also just straight up our pleasure center, all pleasures. It's also our relationship center. And I tend to go there first, how we relate to ourselves and how we relate to others. I mean, sex is the most iconic act of relating to somebody else physically. And that's why it kind of embodies the sex center. But even more so, I think it's very much just about how we relate to ourselves and relate to others, our relationship center. So all that's going to be coming, is going to be opening up with this moon cycle. So let's, I think this is probably the one that everyone who's watching this is probably most curious about, is deceit. Probably all want to know what's going on there, right? So let's have a look and see what is happening there. All right. So being in our strength spot, I had said that it's whatever deceit it is, whether it's from somebody else who's pulling the wool over our eyes, or whether it's us deceiving ourselves about something. The world is the detail we're getting with that. And I think what that means is that we've stepped back and we've taken a new perspective. We're seeing the larger picture right now, which is why in our strength spot we're seeing either that we're deceiving ourselves about something or that someone else is deceiving us. So it's not going to give us a whole lot more than that, except why we're able to see it right now, which is that we've stepped back, and we have taken on a new perspective right now. We're seeing the greater picture, okay? And maybe as a result of that, it won't be so hard to deal with the deceit, whether it's with ourselves or with someone else, because we are seeing the greater picture right now, okay? And let's look at the balance card. I'm just going to show it to you one more time here. Let's ask about the balance card, shall we? Magician and the Mirror. This is a manifest card. It's a power card. So the Magician the idea of this card is that you have the power to create it, conceptualize it, and you have the power to physically manifest it. You need both. You can't just have one or the other. If you don't have an idea, whatever you manifest isn't going to be it's not going to be much substance. But if you have a full concept and you don't take any action to manifest it physically, then it's still just a concept. So it's important to have the balance of those two things. It's very yin and yang, right? The kind of more passive energies and then the physical moving energies. So I think that this is bringing balance to those areas, especially if business is related to this. New contracts. Again, those contracts could be things like home. Being beside the journey card, it could absolutely be signing a new lease, a new mortgage, etc. It could also be marriage. But being connected with all those things, I think that it definitely is bringing balance to able to conceptualize and able to manifest. So kind of cool to get those details there of what's actually being brought into balance, because wherever we're out of balance, whether we are all in the on the concept side and we never seem to be able to physically manifest it, or whether we're constantly manifesting things but we just never get the time to really put the thought into it as to what we want. Balance is coming there this cycle, okay? So I think that's pretty much it for this reading as far as the layout goes. I do want to pull a quick little theme card from the bottom of the deck just to see what the overarching theme of this moon cycle is. And this is about our commitments, what we tell ourselves we are tied up in, what we tell ourselves that we are literally tied down to, committed to, sort of our excuses and reasons for why we can't do the things that maybe we're being asked to do or want to do. Bear in mind, anytime you give an excuse about something as to, well, I can't do this because, or I want to do this, but I can't because. Anytime you use the word because as an excuse or whatever, it's pay attention to those things. Don't box yourself in, because we are quite limitless in so many ways that maybe we can't even comprehend. And the ways that we limit ourselves it's really quite sad, because those are self-imposed. In maybe they weren't always self-imposed, maybe they originally come from somewhere else, either maybe our families, parents, teachers, wherever those came from originally, but we're carrying the torch now, so we're boxing ourselves into those little tiny spaces and restrictions now. So just bear in mind anytime you catch yourself saying, well, because, I can't do this because. Just make sure that that's a real because, and it's not an actual, maybe it's something that we're holding ourselves back to based on fear of what will actually happen. Fear of being successful even can actually be one of those things that we generate excuses for, because we're actually just scared of, like, well, what happens if I do succeed? That can be a scary thing for some people, and a lot of people. So bear in mind what you're tying yourself down to and whether or not those things are actually valid. So that's it for this full moon reading. It's a bit of an interesting one. I hope you guys enjoyed the reading, connected with it. And if you did, please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shining Empathy. And until next time, everyone, I'll see you then. Love and light to you all. Bye for now.